Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a beautiful Tuesday. Boy, it's not, 48 degrees, but it's pretty darn nice out there. So I would say enjoy it while it lasts. It is 84 degrees right now with apparently no rain in sight, like for about the next week. So our grass, which has gotten a little crunchy, is going to give it a big old snap, crackle, pop in the next week. Let's check in Murfreesboro. Kelly Holcomb is back from his travels. Kelly, how was Atlanta?
Well, gosh, let's don't even talk about that, George. Not good.
Okay, what
I
did you
stopped.
experience?
I stopped. We stopped and ate. Yeah, we stopped and ate a little bit.
Mhm.
But it's a nightmare going through Atlanta. It truly is. You cannot get through there. There were 3 crashes that we got detoured at one point. So it's just, it took us normally, it takes a little over 6 hours if you can go through it, and you can, but there's no way to go through it. Like the only time we've done that is when you leave at nighttime, and we got through there at 5:30 one morning, and people were just getting up, but we got through it, and we had no problems. But that's the only time. It took us 8 hours, probably 8.5 hours. It's crazy.
Gosh. Billy, say hello very quickly.
Hello.
Hello quickly. That's about it. Nice shirt, by the way. Why are you not on?
I'm working on getting my camera on at the moment.
Okay. So it's time for Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update. My understanding is he's on by phone with a picture that appears to be many years ago. Many years ago. Terry, how are you?
I'm doing well, and I'm saying if there's a picture of me from many years ago, it probably looks better than a picture of me now.
If nothing else ages you, the Yankees will.
Oh my gosh, they are these guys. I don't understand why we go out at the deadline and we bring in relief pitching from terrible teams that don't contend, like the Rockies and the Pirates, and expect these guys to pitch in clutch situations. Doesn't work.
What can I tell you? Welcome to the crowd.
Yes, I'm almost surprised we didn't go get some of your bullpen.
Oh,
the way things are going.
Listen, if you'd like to have Eniel de los Santos, we can work something out.
Can't be any worse than Jake Bird.
How many? Well, he got sent down today. You're not going to have to worry about him. What's going on out in Titans land?
Well, today is actually a day off. Titans will be back on the practice field tomorrow. No media access today, but bright and early tomorrow morning, Brian Callahan's press conference at 7:40 a.m. and practice right after that around 8 o'clock. So bright and early as they try to work out some of the kinks and get rid of some of the stench from Sunday's practice where Brian Callahan was certainly not a happy camper.
Yeah, you talked about that some yesterday. In your mind, is that just normal training camp stuff or reason for real concern?
Probably not a reason for real concern, but I think it's certainly not nothing because, Brian Callahan, I think he knows that this thing has to be better than last year if he wants to stick around here. And certainly, the whole organization now has hitched its wagon to Cam Ward. And so they need this guy to be good, but they not only need him to be good enough, they need the people around him to be better. And when you have false starts and penalties and incorrect routes and all the things that drive coaches nuts, they eventually lose it. And I think that's what happened. I don't think it's fair to say that all the offense's failures were on Cam Ward Sunday, because certainly there were other guys who were at fault, with those sorts of things. And it wasn't just the first team offense. The second and third team offense also had their share of struggles too. So all of that led to the eruption of Brian Callahan at the end of it.
So is there anything new on L'Jarius Sneed?
The last I was told, and this came Saturday from Brian Callahan, they're hopeful that both he and Lloyd Cushenberry can be taken off PUP next week when they play a scrimmage against the Falcons. They're not going to do any work, but they're at least going to get them off the PUP so they can start doing some individual. Not going to throw them back out there in a team drill and say, go get it, big boy. They're going to ease them back in, but at least having them on the field for individual work and things like that is a start of that process. So I think they're hopeful that next week maybe that'll be the time that they can return.
Terry, if you were going to put odds on him, because when he's healthy, he's certainly an upgrade. What do you think the odds are that he's playing on opening day?
Maybe 50-50.
Yeah.
Because, with as many problems as he's had, I can't guarantee that something else isn't going to crop up between now and September the 7th.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
We do have some news on Quandre Diggs. I don't know if you've heard, Terry, but according to Jordan Schultz, safety Quandre Diggs is signing with the Titans.
Coming back. That's interesting. That's an interesting move by him because other than Kevin Winston, they had really no safety depth whatsoever to speak of behind Amani Hooker and Xavier Woods. So it's interesting that, this is the route that they go, bringing back Quandre Diggs, who, by the way, is Cam Ward's cousin.
Yeah, just saw that.
Wow. Keeping it all in the family, huh?
All in the family. There you go.
Good. They can use him. Terry, good luck to your Yankees, even if I don't mean it.
Oh, well, thanks. We sure do need it.
Are the Red Sox now ahead of you?
What's that? Yes, the Red Sox are now ahead of us.
Yeah. Wow. How the mighty have fallen. Terry, talk tomorrow.
Yes. Okay, thanks.
That's Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update. Billy, do you have an update of some substance?
Yeah, we've got an update today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With some substance.
Yeah, sure we do.
It's brought to you by Tennessee.
Hold on just a second. Kelly, any thoughts there?
You know my thoughts. We've got to hear it to believe it. And right now, I'm just not sure because it's a dead time of year, and he's trying to scrape the barrel, but I don't know. Up until this point, though, it seems a little shaky there, Billy.
Well, just listen to the update. You'll
okay. All right. Well, the ones so far, I mean, have been shaky the last week or so. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the cupboard is bare on occasion. So
I get it, but hey, it's your job. I mean, you're the techno geek. You got to figure it out.
Techno geek. Thank you. All jokes aside, it is brought to you by Tennessee, Illinois. December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. Get tickets, Ticketmaster.com. All right, we're going to start today with some news out of Knoxville. Boo Carter is back for the Vols after being a full participant in practice today. He was in uniform on the practice field, participating in drills. That's quite a change for him, of course. In the first 4 practices of the preseason, he had been excluded from those drills and instead left to work out on the side of the field or in the indoor facility while the team practiced on the outdoor field. So Boo Carter is back.
Well, yippee.
Now the world is right. Boo Carter's back.
All is right in the world.
I bet Tony will know how and why.
I still don't. I mean, I don't think anybody knows what went on with him. But obviously, they've sorted a lot of it out, and I'm sure we'll hear some more of that from Tony. In the NFL, Teddy Bridgewater passed his physical and has signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 32 years old. Still going strong in the NFL. He last suited up for the Lions a couple of years ago, coming out of retirement to serve as Jared Goff's backup. He did not appear in a regular season game. In the playoffs, he completed his only pass attempt for 3 yards in that little toss sweep to Jamison Williams in their loss to the Commanders in the divisional round. But he is now the Bucs backup quarterback. I would guess backup behind Baker Mayfield. You've also got Michael Pratt, former Tulane quarterback, dealing with a back injury. So Tampa looking for some help. I'm sure we'll see a little bit of Teddy Bridgewater on Saturday against. I mean, he may start on Saturday. Who knows?
I thought he was older than 32. He's been around a while.
He has
bounced to a lot of teams.
He has.
Also, Rams top running back Kyron Williams has signed a 3-year, $33 million extension with the team. Includes $23 million guaranteed. A couple of weeks ago, on the day that the Rams reported to training camp, Williams made it clear he wanted to sign an extension with LA. He reported to training camp and said he would not hold out of practices. So, Kyron Williams back with the Rams.
Okay, stop there for a second. Big news. Kelly,
Yes.
barring catastrophic injuries that would ravage their roster, the Rams have the best shot in the NFC to supplant the Philadelphia Eagles.
You may be right. I mean, they last year they went further than I thought they would go, and Matthew Stafford is still slinging that rock, and defensively they're still pretty good. So hey, I don't know if they can supplant the Philadelphia Eagles the way they run the football. I mean, I just think that if they can do what they did last year, it's still going to be tough to beat them. I'm not sure that the 49ers are up there anymore. I don't know about Brock Purdy, but you may be right, George, because they're a pretty good team, and they surprised everybody with that run they made at the end of the year.
Everybody thinks it's the Vikings. I think it's the Rams.
You may have a point.
And if I'm wrong, then it will be the silence of the Lambs.
Good line.
Thank you.
Come on, George. Hey, he's been thinking about that all day, Billy. How about that?
No,
He thought about that this morning.
No, I did not.
Been workshopping.
I thought about it about 45 seconds ago.
We've got other preseason news. Ravens head coach John Harbaugh informed reporters that Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry will not play in Thursday's preseason opener against the Colts. So you will not see Lamar Jackson or Derrick Henry, but you will see Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray in their first preseason game. So, Kelly, what's the process of having? Obviously, if the guy's not healthy, he's not going to play in a preseason game. But I mean, how much does it matter that the starter gets a series? I mean, does that even matter?
Not at this point. And it just, I go back to the times. I don't know if you, of course, you don't remember this, Billy, but George does, when the Dallas Cowboys were winning their Super Bowls in consecutive years, and they cared nothing about the preseason. They were 0-4 like every year. Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and all, they didn't care, but they came back and they won the Super Bowl. It's amazing. So I just, you want to get some work in, you want to get some sweat flowing, you want to get some timing with your guys down, but these guys like Kyler Murray's played enough. He's going to run around and do the whole deal. I don't think it really matters, to be honest with you. And here's another thing too, Billy. I was watching, like they got something going on in Indianapolis with Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. It's like they say on the depth chart, Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones. Yep. So it seems like they're getting even reps in practice, and that's going to be interesting to see just how that unfolds.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. Shane Steichen announced this afternoon, following their practice with the Ravens, the joint practice, that Anthony Richardson will start Thursday's preseason opener in Baltimore. The plan is for Richardson to play about a quarter and a half before he is replaced by Daniel Jones, who will finish out the first half.
It feels like
the tide is turning.
Daniel Jones is sort of the guy right now, which means that Richardson, who has been plagued by injuries, has not advanced to the level they want him to.
Well, we talked about it last year when you take yourself out of a game and tell reporters that you were tired. That doesn't help.
Not go well.
That doesn't help your cause.
Let me ask you guys. Would you guys have drafted him out of college? He never he played a little bit. I mean, he's a specimen. There's no question. He's a freak athlete. He's like Javon Curse, but he doesn't have the ability like that. And I just you see what he did in college. It's kind of like what I said about Will Levis. I mean, what he did in college, he's done in the pros. And these coaches get so much of an ego. They say, well, they didn't know how to coach him. You think you do?
Well, he just turned 23 years old, too. I mean,
yeah, it's just he didn't do it for me in college. I just don't know what he's going to do in the pros.
When he played here against Vandy, and Vandy beat them. It was Hartley's second year. I just kind of came away going, yeah. But certainly not what was he, the third pick overall in the draft?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like
He's
that.
got a cannon. He could throw it through a wall, but you got to understand where you can't throw scuds. You got to know where it's going.
They were also running him like he was Cam Newton last year with a lot of QB powers. So it does feel like Daniel Jones, he will start the second preseason game against the Packers. Daniel Jones will. So we'll see what happens there. Also, we'll see what happens with the Netflix Any Given Saturday documentary. I'm gonna get home tonight and watch that. But Adam Sparks put a piece out in the Knoxville News Sentinel that's really interesting. He said, expect an eye-opening Diego Pavia clip from the new Netflix SEC series to resurface in the Tennessee locker room before the Vandy game this November. Pavia was quoted to say in an interview, "We can beat Tennessee literally any given Saturday. They think they're going to destroy us." He also said, F every single one of them dudes. We're going to win this game at all costs. So you've got quite the amount of bulletin board material if you're a Vanderbilt opponent this season. But I can't wait to watch that. They highlight the Alabama win, and they were actually with Vandy that whole week. And apparently there's a clip of Pavia and Stowers in their dorm room talking about, scheming things up. But it's a really cool look, and it's a 7-episode deal. So if you have Netflix, I recommend you watch that because it's
What's
out
it
now.
called again, Billy? What's it called?
It's called Any Given Saturday.
Any Given Saturday. Okay.
Yeah. And I think the Vandy stuff starts in episode 3. So
George, you going to watch it?
So I've got to figure out what Netflix is, and then we'll work from there.
Oh my
Are we done?
Yes, we're done.
Okay. After the break, Tony Basilio will be fighting off the disabled list.
Yeah, he's playing hurt.
Yeah, he is playing hurt. We'll find out what's going on with him and see where this segment goes. It's never dull. This is 94.9, The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Attention, Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign that went right to the wire. And this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets are on sale now. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois. It's big time. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
That have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we're in a holding pattern, I'm told. May not have Tony Basilio up yet. Kelly, let me ask you this question. As you know, Tennessee will open in what is considered a neutral site, but will be anything but that in Atlanta. It'll be Neyland, Atlanta Braves style at Mercedes-Benz. Syracuse obviously has a change of quarterback. Richie Collins is now their guy. Kyle McCord, I think, surprised some people and went out. Tennessee's a 2-touchdown favorite. Do you see any problem there, honestly?
I do not, no. And you're right. Kyle McCord, when he was at Ohio State, I don't know if it was pressure. I don't know what it was, but he just didn't fit the bill. He played high school football, I think, with Marvin's son, Marvin Harrison Jr., and they had kind of a chemistry, but it didn't. I don't know. It wasn't much. It wasn't like Will Howard had last year, winning the national championship with those guys. But he surprised me. You kept talking about him last year, and I was shocked because I watched the game and I'm like, this is not even the same kid right now playing. So it's just amazing how much of the experience that you get on the field and how much that can translate into you grow a year, you don't look very good. Like Joe Burrow didn't look very good in his first year at LSU, and then he came back his senior year, wins a national championship and the Heisman Trophy. So you never really know. It's crazy.
Yeah, he killed it, what he did. So we're in a little bit of a stall here, and I don't know what's going on, but we'll continue. Oh, we got him. Okay, phone or otherwise?
Phone.
Okay, let's go to Knoxville and find out how the patient is doing, because I know he's been under the weather a little bit. Tony, give us the health update.
The patient's a kook, a freak, a nut job, a stir-crazy lunatic. But I'm excited for football season. I'll tell you what, George, I'm glad I don't have – because when you're laid up like this, you sure don't want to have your Braves to watch night in and night out. I'm just glad I get to watch the Phillies. Something to look forward to each night as I'm trying to get back on my feet with my back issues. But, boy, bad baseball, man. That is there may not be a worse sport to watch than when your baseball team stinks.
They are unwatchable right now. And, of course, it is the summer of my discontent. But is your deal a sciatic nerve?
Yeah, so, I mean, that's what I thought it was. But I finally pinned down what it is. And they had me in traction yesterday, George, which was really good. That's a really good thing when they stick you up on that machine and rip your body in half. You know, there's not much of me to begin with, George. So I thought we were going to have 2 Tony Basilios yesterday. They had that thing going so hard at me.
Well,
Stretch
Look.
Armstrong back in the day. Those of us old enough to remember the Stretch Armstrong toy, you would stretch that thing, Kelly, and there was jelly in the middle of it. If you pulled hard enough on it, and you got one of your buddies, you could pull it 25 feet apart, jelly would come out of the middle of it.
Oh, I can remember that.
Well, most importantly, we want you to get to be feeling better, because that sucks.
Oh, but I remind myself, guys, there are really sick people listening to us, and really sick people in our lives, and God bless them, because it's a tough thing.
Amen. So, what can you tell us as we close up the whole Boo Carter chapter? How did this all end?
Well, Boo's back in the New York groove, man. He was back on the practice field today, and he had his helmet on after a week of being ostracized for the first first three practices. He was ostracized, and now he's back for the crown. So, Tennessee's got some real interesting issues, because they really don't have a tremendous tremendous number of options in terms of what they're going to do with the receiving core, because they just don't have a tremendous amount of numbers there. And so this is going to be an interesting thing. Like today, the Staley kid was out. Matthews was back. They haven't had the Brazel kid. They haven't had the Brazel kid yet on the practice field at all, because he's been banged up. They have 7 scholarship wide receivers, George. Of the 7, I say like 4 are what you call playable players at this point. They brought in a kid from Alabama last year in the transfer portal, Jefferson. I don't think they're going to get much out of him. They don't think they're going to get much out of him early, which it always is interesting to me, guys, how these evals are made almost right away. And in the first couple of days of camp, usually when we hear somebody can play or somebody can't play, those evals are usually right, as I've talked to people down through the years. I don't know what that is about that sport. Obviously, guys are allowed to get better, but they are really numbers crunched at wide receivers, and they haven't been healthy so far in camp.
Tony, give me your theory on this. When I was growing up, Tennessee was kind of a wide receiver U. They had a great track program. You would think of Willie Galt, or as John Ward used to say, William Galt of Tennessee. Thank you. Why are they having so much trouble getting wide receivers? Given what Heupel runs, you would think they'd be able to get a bunch of them.
I don't know. Like last year, 7 of them left in the portal. And it's very odd, because if you would have looked at Heupel's first couple of years after he developed those guys that he inherited from Jeremy Pruitt, one would have thought that would have been the last thing to worry about. We're going into his 5th season, and his football team is defensively oriented. That's what they are. That their strength is on defense. Their question marks are on offense. Their defensive side of the ball, Tim Banks and them, they do a really nice job of managing their side of the roster. This year they added a kid named Colton Hood, who was a kind of a rotation corner for Colorado last year. They think they have a real find in him. The McCoy kid obviously is out, going to be out for a while. They think this Colton Hood young man is going to be a real nice help to them. Tennessee's probably 2 of their better options right now on their receiving core are 2 tight ends. Ethan Davis, who was thought to be more of a hybrid type, just a guy that can do a lot of things at tight end, but really catch the ball. And then the Kitzelman, who we talked, Kitzelman kid who transferred in from Alabama last year, who became a team leader overnight, and it's just a heck of a player. So it's odd to see that Josh Heupel has a defensive-oriented football team with a lot more question marks on the offensive side of the ball than on the defensive side of the ball. Because I'm going to tell you something, guys. Their defense, from what I'm hearing, is nasty. Might be better than last year's defense before it's over.
Which is scary. So offensively with Joey Aguilar, and I'm going to assume until I hear otherwise that he will start against Syracuse. Will this look like Tennessee offenses of the last couple of years, or are there changes that Heupel is making to fit Aguilar's skill set?
Great question, George. I wish I knew the answer to that. People I talk to say that the quarterback play through the first week or so has been extremely uneven, to say the least. Probably the most impressive guy of the three has been the McIntyre kid, but he's not going to play simply because he's so tiny. You know, you just don't want to do that to him. I mean, obviously he's a big, tall kid, but he just needs to gain weight. It wouldn't be good for him to throw him out there in a spot like that. The other two guys that are fighting for the starting job, you're right, George, it's going to be Aguilar's job unless he absolutely stinks it up in camp. Neither guy right now has lit it up. Their first scrimmage isn't until Saturday. But they, we had some fun with it. They released a film over the weekend of that Hood kid I was talking about from Colorado intercepting a ball and taking it back. And they're so secretive at UT, as you asked me that question, that they took the face of the quarterback that threw the ball and scrubbed it, like you were interviewing a mob informant or something on television. you couldn't even tell. You couldn't even tell, George, who let the ball go. I mean, and I'm sitting there going, has it come to this? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it has come to this.
Wow. Kelly, say hello to the ailing Tony Basilio, but on the mend.
On the mend. Hope you get to feeling better, Tony. I really do.
Amen.
Thank you, Cal. Thank you, Cal.
You know what you got to. You know what you got to do. You got to stretch a little bit, man. I started doing that about 4 years ago, man. I had back problems, and it's tough, man. When you go, people don't understand when you have a back issue. You can just literally sneeze, or you can pick something off the ground and you can pull your back out. It's crazy.
Well, my thing is, Cal, for people who have been through it, my thing is that I've got this nerve deal, and this thing heats up at night. And I mean, that thing will stay hot all night long, and that sucker will keep you up, man.
Yeah, that's not good, man. I've had that. So, hey, you're talking about the wide receivers, and I just kind of wanted to elaborate on that a little bit. Is it a cause for concern with you, with all these guys that are leaving? That is what Josh Heupel's offense is kind of known for. I mean, now here's the deal: they run the ball, and we know that he likes to run the ball. And people don't think he runs the ball, which I think that's what he does. But you're seeing all these guys leaving, and you're seeing not much productivity out of them. Are they getting coached, Tony?
I mean, that's a great $1 million question, right? Like if guys from this group don't produce, it'll almost mean they have zero production at wide receiver. Then you're going to start seeing some chirping towards the development there. You know, the real rub with this offense is that there's a twofold rub with it. But the first thing is they don't change on the fly like a lot of offenses do, Kelly. So the three receivers on the field are the three receivers on the field are the three receivers on the field. And they don't necessarily go very deep. And so 7 guys walked out of here in the portal in December. Now, we knew the first 3 or 4 were going. When a couple of the other guys left, we were kind of surprised by it. But at that point, it was almost like, okay, I'm just going to join the party. And at one point, we were joking in the winter they could have had their wide receiver room meeting in a phone booth. They had like 2 guys left, you know.
Yeah.
So, but in terms of, you know, pointing fingers, who knows? Is it an eval problem? Is it a development problem? Is it the quarterbacks we've had the last couple of years couldn't get the ball to open guys problem? And that hurts production because, you know, a couple of the guys that left had balls thrown at them last year that weren't completed for a myriad of reasons. Was it route running reasons? Was it in the case of Squirrel White, they kept throwing deep balls to him and he had one arm. You know, he only had one wing working at one time there towards the end of the year, and they kept throwing the ball deep to him. So, you know, I just think that this year is a real opportunity for these young guys. And so far in camp, they haven't been able to have the 3 they're going to count on be on the field at the same time all at once. In fact, for most practices, they've had 2 of the 3 missing. And so who knows how it's going to shake out.
So let me carry that a little bit further, and I don't know if it matters much in the NIL world now. If you're looking for a receiver and you give him all kind of money, I don't think he cares. But like, do you think that because guys talk and coaches talk, players talk when they know players, and they're like, you think Tennessee's kind of getting a stigma of like you might want to think about if you're a receiver thinking about something else? Could that be the case?
You know, I don't know. I mean, look, they tried, because I was talking today on my show about how I just can't comprehend that they didn't go into the portal and get some guys.
Right.
And, you know, you kind of look around the SEC, and LSU, who didn't really need receivers, added Barry and Brown and Nick Anderson. I say didn't need. I'm talking about like compared to where Tennessee's at right now. They got Nick Anderson from Oklahoma, the Brown kid, who I believe is originally from the state of Tennessee, who played at Kentucky. Alabama got Isaiah Horton. Auburn got Eric Singleton, who is a really nice player out of Georgia Tech. J. Michael Sturdivant from UCLA went to Florida. The Branch kid, along with Noah Thomas, are at Georgia. Missouri added Kevin Coleman from Mississippi State. A&M added David Concepcion's 4th cousin from NC State. Tennessee swung and missed on Carnell Tate. They tried to get involved with the Branch guy. I think they were also involved with Concepcion for a hot minute. Point is that, you know, they weren't able to land those guys. And, you know, and then they didn't really have a backup plan. To me, I would have gone out and I would have added at least a couple more productive wide receivers I knew I could count on. Sort of like break glass in case of emergency guys. They don't have those guys on the roster right now. They don't have any. They have a bunch of question marks, and they don't have any break glass in case of emergency. This is who we're going to play.
Okay, so you're piped in with the UT program. You get info from a lot of people, but are you feeling or hearing any concern about the quarterback position? Because we got a guy that's played a bunch, but he's not played at this level. We got another young kid that they think is going to be pretty good, but still a young kid. And then you talked about the McIntyre kid as well. So you don't have much experience there being in this UT offense. And Aguilar, I've already talked about it, how he was at UCLA 5-6 months ago, and now he's at UT. It's just hard to understand an offense in that period of time. But are you hearing from the rooms, are you hearing anything from, out of the facility, the organization about they're a little bit nervous, they're a little bit anxious about what's going on at the quarterback position?
Well, you must be talking to somebody because they are concerned. And if I were hearing anything other than that right now, I'd be very surprised by that. Of course, we also have the fact that offenses are always lagging behind defenses at this time of the year when you get in camp and you get on the field together. So there's that. But then with Aguilar, there's also going to be the processing of all this. How much can he take? And then as a coach, and I go back to last year with Nico, because the things I heard about Nico last year, because I tell him myself on the air, first of all, I had his Heisman Trophy was getting minted 1 year ago. I had him on the first team All-America team, and I had a bust already picked out in Canton, Ohio for him. But other than that,
So you had Ron Paulus disease.
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct. But George, at the end at shame on us for getting spun, I guess is the way I look at that. Because now what I'm hearing about these quarterbacks are, boy, we have issues. Boy, we're having trouble throwing against the ball, drills with our defense
Against
early
air?
on.
They're having trouble completing balls against air.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, and I said this, when you talk about camp, you always have to temper things and keep things in perspective, because people want to hear what they want to hear. So I'm almost hesitant to share that, hey, there's a concern about this, or the concern. Just because it's a concern now doesn't mean it's a concern 3 weeks from now. It means we got in there, we drilled down, and we developed whatever it was, or we identified something, we moved somebody else over in that position. I think what's interesting about Boot Carter is that Tennessee has a plethora of DBs, because they've done a really nice job of identifying. They've done a nice job of going into the portal and getting guys, and they've kept their love alive, to quote the great Jackson Brown. So they've been able to do that. On the offensive side of the ball, they're challenged for playmakers. And now that Carter's back, I wonder if they give him a little bit of a longer look and more of an opportunity offensively, because they need some help.
So, Tony, my last question here is: you've obviously changed your mind on Nico. You've obviously changed your mind on Tim Banks as well. But let's just stay on the offensive side of the ball. They've got one offensive lineman coming back, Lance Hurd, that started last year. Like, we've talked about receivers, we talked about the inexperience at quarterback. Like, how is their O-line going to be? Because they got a bunch of young guys that hadn't played much.
Well, what they have is they've got guys that are experienced that they've gotten from other places. They have 2 transfers. They have the kid that came in, LSU. You talk about the Hurd 5-star kid. Kelly, he's back in 5-star shape now. He was way out of condition last year. One thing we know about this level, if you walk out there and you're physically not in condition, with the hosses that line up at end and at some of these that come off the edges for some of these teams, this world-class speed, that ain't going to be good. That's not going to work. They feel a lot better about their prospects at offensive line this year than they did a year ago. Now, last year They had all those veteran guys, but what they didn't have was the high-end ability. And that offensive line was still pretty good last year. This year's offensive line figures to be better before it's over. But here's the problem, okay? And this is always the issue. How long is it going to take?
Mm-hmm.
How long is it going to take? Because you got Georgia on that schedule late in September, and Georgia's not going to feel sorry for you in your building. Now, am I expecting this Tennessee team to defeat the Georgia Bulldogs? I mean, look, I've had a lot of, shall we say, pharmacological help in the last couple of weeks, but not that much. So the answer is no. The answer is no to that. But at the same time, you don't want to go out there in a spot where you throw your guys out there and you just get kind of run over. The good thing is, and I talk to my people that are watching camp constantly here, is that offensive line every day in practice gets to go against up to 12 guys that could play pretty much for anybody in this league. So when you're rotating that many great bodies at an offensive line, as they get to know each other, this is a good camp to do it in. Now, it isn't like when we were kids back in the day where you would have 2-a-days and 3-a-days. Now you have one practice, and it's, back in your day, it felt like a walkthrough what these kids now do in practice.
Crazy, yeah.
But it's crazy how much these sports change. But it bears repeating that they're going against guys on the defensive side that are very, very, very good. Is probably as good as we're going to see all year.
Tony, first off, hope you get to feeling better, brother. On the quarterback situation, you mentioned the blurred picture and Jake Merklinger getting some first team reps. Have you changed your tune at all in the quarterback battle per se? And do you believe there is a battle going on right now?
I don't. Look, the only way that Joey Aguilar does not start at quarterback is if he's terrible. Now, they might get in that scrimmage Saturday, and he might be brutal. Who knows? They might get in that scrimmage Saturday, and he shows out, or it's somewhere in between. But I'm like this, okay? And this is the way it works in the NFL world. If you're a first-round pick, and this is your first camp, you're going to get that job. Now, there might be a guy over there that's an undrafted guy who might have an opportunity to beat you out eventually down the road. But for the first game, you're going to get that chance pretty much unless you're horrendous in camp. If you're horrendous in camp, you get lapped. And that's kind of the way I read this, because I don't think you pay a guy $1 million and bring him in here to sit him on the bench. And Kelly, you played that position. That's how this is going to work. Now, obviously, the guy still has to earn it. Obviously, the guy, speaking of the man I've dubbed Joey Football, he can't stink. If he stinks, Kelly, then you go with somebody else. But I think the proper read here, and I talked about this on Monday on my show. In fact, one of the really good signs internally with that team is that the Merklinger guy has been, during the first couple practices, was taking the first rep, because then he was trying to show Aguilar what we're trying to do in this drill. And then immediately, because they want to go quickly, so immediately we go from here over to that station. And so he kind of took him under wing there. But obviously, he wants to compete for the job. But I just think at the end of the day, unless Aguilar is awful in this camp, it's going to be his job.
Tony, as we end this, how can a person hear you in Middle Tennessee that has never heard you until today?
Well, you can find my website at tclub.team. We drop a blog up there every day. There's one up there right now. There's some really great stuff up there today about how Josh Heupel, no matter what he has, just finds a way to find a way. And this year on that side of the football is going to be maybe his biggest test yet. And then you can also hear our daily show there and sort of what we do, and get up and celebrate another day tomorrow as we're one more day closer to football season, guys. This is fun.
Amen. Get well.
Thank you, boys.
Tony Basilio, and we mean it. Get well quickly. After the break, a few thoughts about what we heard from him today on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. Attention, Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign that went right to the wire. And this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets are on sale now. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois. It's big time.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2025 season. Create a summer of memories at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, and more. Tickets are on sale now.
I trained my entire life to be the best. I was one of the fastest women in the entire country. But woke politics made me swim against a man, sharing the pool and the locker room. That's not just dangerous, it's degrading. Thank God for Marsha Blackburn. No one fights harder to protect us. Marsha Blackburn will always stand for strong women because she's one of us.
I'm Marsha Blackburn, and I approve this message.
Okay, so let's talk through a little bit of what we heard from Tony. What was the most surprising take, if you want to say, that you all got?
Mine is me being a quarterback. Mine's quarterback. I just don't think they've got a clear-cut picture there. I really don't. They could come out in the media and they can talk all positive and whatever, but I just don't think they have a clear-cut deal right now who the quarterback's going to be. Now, with that being said, I think Tim Banks and the defensive side of the football is a saving grace for Josh Heupel. They were good last year. I think they're going to be really good this year. And if you got a good defense, we always hear defense wins championships. I still think that's the case, although offensively, if you've got an explosive offense, which is what people want to see nowadays, you can kind of hang in there. But if you got a great defense and you can keep scores down, you can keep scores low, which is hard to do in today's football sometimes, you can outscore people with just, a touchdown or two touchdowns. So I just think that offensively, with their offensive line, I know Tony talked about, they may be better than they were last year, but they've got to all come together and have some continuity. And wide receiver is kind of a question for me. I really think that they're getting a stigma of around the country of, I'm not sure that I really want to go there. Now, that I might be way off base right there, George. I really, really may be. And I don't know if it really matters with NIL and the money that you pay kids nowadays, but I just think the question mark at quarterback right now is a big thing for them, and I don't think they have the answer to it, and I think they're wanting to see some things. And if Joey Aguilar goes in and just has a pulse and doesn't mess up in the Saturday scrimmage, I think he's probably the guy, but I just think there's a big question mark for me.
Billy, why is that question mark? Because he has produced in the past. It's not like he's chopped liver.
Well, it's his third offense that he's had to learn in the last year, really. And he was at App State last year. That was his second year at App State. Then went to UCLA and had a little bit of their install. And now he's had to learn Josh Heupel's offense. And I thought it was interesting. Tony said, really, the reason he was taking some second-team reps there early was to learn about the drills they do and sit behind Merklinger for some of those drills. I don't think that's a massive takeaway, but if he's getting acquainted now, we're 3-4 weeks away from kickoff. Like, what's he going to look like in that Syracuse game? I don't think anybody really knows. So, to me, he's a question mark because he hasn't played in this offense. And, he's produced at App State. He didn't do anything at UCLA. He was there for 4 or 5 months, but he hasn't done anything with Josh Heupel. Not to say he can't, but like Kelly has talked about, that's not easy to learn an offense as quick as he's had to learn this one. It's not extremely complex, but you've got to be really quick with all your reads and you've got to complete those deep passes. They were not able to do that last year. So I think it's just because he hasn't been in the offense.
It seems to me that what they've got, and look, this may be shortchanging Syracuse, but not only has Aguilar got to learn this new offense, but Kelly, I think he's got to have it down pat by the time they play Georgia.
You're not playing Charleston Southern. Oh, you're saying, I thought you were going to say Syracuse there, but I mean, would y'all not agree that that's not a game you can just walk into, drop the ball down, and say, "Hey, let's go, Joey"?
No, I'm not going there. But with Kyle McCord gone, I don't see any way they're what they were a year ago.
And you're right, George. But I still don't know if that's enough time with the Georgia game.
Right.
I'm just not sure. I know from my experience, of course, NFL offenses are totally different than college offenses now. And when I went to Indianapolis, I had a 1,000-page notebook just of everything. It's crazy. But I just don't see how you can learn an offense in that amount of time. Now, you can dumb it down, but at some point, you've got to turn it loose, and you've got to win games if you're Josh Heupel. And it's just hard. It's just hard. And those young guys, I mean, I don't know. There's a big question mark in Knoxville, and I think we're going to see it. Hey, Joey Aguilar might come out and he might set the world on fire. He could. He might just be there. There's some guys like Bo Jacksons of the world that can not worry about practice, but when the game lights come on, they can play. And some guys are like that.
So after the break, we'll go stat of the day, and then we're going to debate a little bit the name Travis Hunter. Great athlete from Colorado, terrific defensive player, got great offensive skills. We're going to talk about how would you use him if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, because to me, there's a right way to do it and totally a wrong way to do it. We'll discuss it next on 94.9 The Fan.
Teamed up with Souls for Souls to help a child in Middle Tennessee step into the new year with confidence by introducing Souls for 615. For just $20, you can provide a brand new pair of athletic shoes to a student in need. It's quick, it's easy, and it makes a big difference. Visit thegamenashville.com/shoes to donate now and be a part of something meaningful. Souls for 615 is presented by Macero and 12 South. Go check them out for handcrafted cocktails, bold plates, great happy hour, and elevated hospitality. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Best Friends Animal Society is working to ensure that every dog and cat in the country has a safe place to call home. Home. Just like Superman, you can use your power for good. Join us. Visit bestfriends.org to adopt an out-of-this-world pet near you. Together, we will save them all.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
My biggest issue with baseball is that there is a lack of star power. And part of that is that there isn't the dispersion of stars on teams that matter. Like, look at Paul Skeens and what he's doing in Pittsburgh. He is dominant. He's an absolute star. And he's on a team that is never going to put him in a position to be on the biggest stage in baseball.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. This is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Before I get my number two, Shannon, what's spades?
See, there we go. That's why I put spades /
What?
The two cultures
What you
here.
just ask? What you just asked? What's spades?
That's why I said two cultures here.
Give me a second, Freddie. Eric, what you just asked again?
He doesn't know spades and hearts.
You don't need one in a minute.
You guys play with the Joker or what?
Ask you what spades.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Hey guys, it's Big Joe from my friends over at Busy Bee. It's August. That means it's back to school time. Listen, I'm a member of the Beehive Club. You should be too. Buy one for your family and gift one free Beehive membership to a teacher, coach, faculty of their choice. Listen, this is way better than a red apple. Just go to busybeehvac.com. busybeehvac.com. Become a member. You'll love it.
Busy Bee, yeah, Busy Bee. Call 775-7833.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Talking a little Travis Hunter and the Jaguars coming up. But first stat of the day brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. You can find them in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Give them a call, 615-754-9800, or log on to their website. That's applecollisioncenters.com. All right, Tennessee's offense loses Dylan Sampson to the NFL draft. He broke the record for most rushing yards in a season by a Tennessee Volunteer. Whose record did he break?
Okay, so the interns have, Kelly, participated early.
Okay, so they know it.
Well, who knows whether they know it or not. They've gone Arian Foster. Hugh went Arian Foster. Alex went Alvin Kamara. I'm wondering if it's Jamal Lewis.
That's golly, George. That's crazy, man. I think it's Jamal Lewis. Here's the deal about Jamal Lewis. We played when I was with the Cleveland Browns. We played against the Baltimore Ravens, and he called some of his former teammates and told them, I'm going to beat the NFL rushing record on y'all tomorrow. And guess what? He did. He ran for over 300 yards, I think.
Wow.
Come back.
Show us Jamal Lewis.
I will show you Travis Stevens.
Travis Stevens. Wow.
Holy cow.
I would have never thought that.
Was essentially 0 for August. Not a good day for the interns. Not a great day for us either. 0 for 2 for the week. We will change that tomorrow.
Sure.
So officially, we are now into the 4 o'clock hour from our digs at the Fordyce Center. I'll tell you up front, we will open the phones at about 4:20. We'll be looking for red-blooded Americans who want to talk some sports. This is an issue that I think you're going to get a lot of talk about as the season goes along. Jacksonville Jaguars trade up to get an incredible athlete. Nobody denies that part in Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter has great defensive back skills. From his college days, he's got great wide receiver skills. And he has been telling everybody that he's going to play both ways. Kelly, I don't believe that you can play in the NFL 100+ snaps per week without there being a law of big-time diminishing returns when you get to November and December. What do you think?
Tough question, George. I'm with you. I was thinking about that through the break when you brought it up. He's not a big guy anyway. There's no question, George. You just said it. He's really talented. He's got great ball skills. The best thing about him is he's competitive, man. He wants that ball. That's what I loved about him at Colorado. He wanted that football. He wanted to be in the big moments, in the big spots, and he wanted the ball. He wanted Shedeur to throw it to him because he made plays. The NFL is a different animal. And I just don't know. I've never seen anybody do it consistently. Now, we saw his coach, Dion, do it. We've seen other guys do it. But it's just not been a consistent deal. It's much easier in the National Football League and at any level to play DB than it is to play offense. Offense, you have to know sight adjust. You have to know the depth of routes. You have to know how to get off the line of scrimmage. That's the thing. He did it pretty easy in college. He was kind of a step above everybody else, but in the National Football League, being what is he, 180, 185, something like that. And I know he can move. I know he can fly. He's a speedster. But when you get guys up in your face, because a lot of times in college they're not willing to do that. In the pros they are, and they'll get in your face and they'll be there the whole game. And if you can't get off, there was a guy I played with that had great hands, tremendous hands, but he couldn't get off the line of scrimmage if they played man press on him. And that's the things that you have to see from Travis Hunter to see if he can do it. I don't know if you can play both sides, and just with the nutrition and the physique that you have to have and being in shape to be able to do that with guys taxing on you that long. Because here's the deal. If he's playing on defense and now you bring him out on offense, and I'm a DB and I know he's going to be tired because he's done this his whole life, but I know he's going to be tired because it's a little bit more taxing on what you're doing defensively. But I'm going to get up in his face. I'm going to be on him. I'm going to have my hands on him the whole game. And I just don't know if that translates to the National Football League. I'm interested to see how that does. I think he's an unbelievable talent. I really do. I don't know if, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there listening that are going to totally disagree with me, but I don't know if I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars, I trade up for that. I just don't. I'm not sure that you can do that. And I'm interested as everybody else, like you guys are. I'm interested to see if he can, because if he can, man, that's kind of unbelievable.
Okay, I want to toss sort of the way I would do it. And y'all tell me if you think this is crazy. Because, number one, Jacksonville lacks talent. So you got a guy on the defensive end that no doubt play on defense. On the offensive side, you sit there and you say, well, we can't play him every down. It'll wear him out. And I'm with people that feel that way. So it's not like on 2nd and 6 you bring him in, because if you do, that seems to guarantee that you're going to throw. But when you already know you're going to throw on 3rd and 9, what the heck? Get him in there. The 3rd and longs, get him in. That's when I would play him at wide receiver, where there's no doubt, unless your offensive coordinator is a Nimrod and tries to run a draw on 3rd and 9, that's not going to get you the first down. 3rd and long, get him in there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, outside of what, if they design any end arounds or sweeps, I don't see why on an obvious running down you'd have him in there. But he is so athletic that, like Kelly was saying, that it's going to be hard to keep him off the field. So I don't know. But then how much do you see him on defense? I mean, do we know if we're going to see him more on defense or offense?
Oh, I'm going on the assumption you see him more on defense, Kelly.
Yeah, me too. And I'm with you. And George, you made a really good point. That's how you have to use him if you want to keep him fresh and you want to keep him off the field some, because he wants to play every snap. He's competitive like that. I understand that, but I just don't think in the NFL you can do that. But you're right. On obvious passing situations, you bring him in. When you're 3rd and 2, where you've got the opportunity to run, you might bring him in, but you could bring him in on every 3rd down. It doesn't matter, because 3rd down is different than 1st and 2nd down. Maybe a 2nd and long when somebody knows they're going to pass. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. You've got to. I'm sure they have meetings about that. I'm sure they're thinking about that and figuring out ways. Hey, we can get him on, and I'm just looking forward to seeing if he can do it, because there's not many people that have been able to do it, and there's a reason why. Because when you get in the NFL, you're going against the best athletes in the world. And if it's me, I'm going to go back to what I just said. If he's playing defense a lot and he comes in on the offensive side of the ball and he hadn't had much rest, if I'm a DB, I'm licking my chops, because I'm going to get up in his grill and I'm going to put my hands on him. And I'm not going to let him get off the line of scrimmage if I can. And that right there is taxing. If you're battling a guy on the offensive line, where you're out, split out, and you're having to battle a guy for 60 minutes doing that. That's tough. I'm just going to be honest with you. That's tough. It takes a lot out of you. And when you're running as much as he's going to be running, he's not a big guy anyway. That's taxing on your body to be able to have to do that each and every play.
See, I think he's bringing a really good point here, Billy. On the college level, a lot of the DBs were scared to death of him getting behind them.
Oh, yeah.
They give him the nice cushion. And I agree with Kelly. On the pro level, they don't give a damn. They're sitting there saying, you're not outrunning us. We can, push and grind at the line of scrimmage. And that takes a toll. And it's like a heavyweight title fight. If you have to do that 50, 60 times a game, there's got to be some fatigue to that.
Well, and if he plays close to 80% of the snaps both ways, that'll be about 100 snaps per game. I mean, that's unheard of in the NFL. But he was elite on both sides of the field on offense and defense in college, playing even more snaps than that. So if anybody can do it, it's him. And so I don't blame the Jags at all for trying it and trading up with the spot they were in. It does feel a little boom or bust because of the workload he'll be on. But if anybody can, it's him.
Here's another thing, too, that you got to think about, guys. He's in Jacksonville, and it's hot. It's hot. It's humid down there.
Yes.
And he's got to be like the coach has already probably had meetings with the strength coach and the training staff and all that. We've got to get this guy. We've got to get him good nutrition. We can't having him eat crap. He's got to stay hydrated because all that has an effect, man. And when you're in a hot environment like they are and you're in a hot climate like that, now it's hot everywhere right now, but like even going into October, November, December, in Florida, that's going to be hot. And you got to think about nutrition with him too. Like he's probably 185 pounds. You can't, he can't lose any weight. He's got to stay and he's got to maintain that. If he gets between, 185 and 190, that's good to keep him there. But if he starts dipping in weight, that's a deal where as a coach, you're saying, hey, he's losing too much and we're not getting enough out of him. So nutrition is key for him to stay on the field like he wants to.
Yeah, I just you haven't seen it. I mean, Deion Sanders, of course, but
he didn't do it much though. Deion didn't do it much. He did it a little bit. He did it very seldom. Like he came in on offense and everybody's like, "Whoa, he did it all." No, he didn't do it much. And he was a better DB. That's what he went for. But this is kind of a once in a generational deal where this kid's pretty good on both sides. Like Deion was really good on the defensive side. He had speed and he wasn't a great route runner, let's be honest, but he could run by people. Travis Hunter, if they can teach him, there's so much more you have to learn on the offensive side, though, Billy. I told y'all, I had 1,000 pages in my playbook. Now, I didn't have to look at all those, but if you take that, there's so much that you have to know as a receiver. You have to know your splits on certain situations. You have to know who to block on run plays. You have to know the depth of your route. You have to know if the route changes against certain coverages. You have to know if you're the hot adjustment on something because we've got a 5-man or 6-man protection and the 6th or the 7th man that's coming is to my side. So I have to side adjust. There's so much more that goes into it. And I'm not saying he can't do it, but that's just a lot. That's a lot coming into the National Football League as a rookie being able to do.
I think where I am is he plays on defense. That's priority number one. But on offense, on downs that the defense already knows what you're going to do. 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, put him out there.
Because you know what's coming anyway.
Exactly. Thank you.
That's a good way. That's a good way to do it, and a lot of people do that, George. That is a good way to do it because everybody knows you're throwing. We got to get a first down. We're going to try to get it to him. So I'm just interested in seeing how this is going to play itself out because I want to see if somebody can do it, and he's really the only guy in the last years that's been able to even try to accomplish this.
Okay, we're going to go to the break. And then we're going to go wide open. I want to hear from red-blooded Americans who are getting ready for football season. First real weekend of preseason is this week. And oh, by the way, with that in mind, we begin our promotion at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. We will, once the regular season starts, be at Sports and Social every Thursday night. That's going to be fun. There's always the pro game and normally some college games. But we're going to break the whole thing in Saturday around the Titans-Tampa Bay Bucks game, which starts at 6:30. We're going to do a chalk talk around 5:30. Hope a lot of you will come out and be a part of it. We're going to have fun. By the way, if you're coming, get ready to play Pop-A-Shot. Great Pop-A-Shot machines, and we're going to have a little Pop-A-Shot competition. Anyway, back to the phone. Oh, let me say one thing. If you know you want to come on Saturday and you want me to reserve you a table ahead of time, just email me. Let me know, plastergeorge@gmail.com, and let me know how many people you want me to reserve for. Now to the phones. Wide open, red-blooded Americans who want to talk some sports. 615-553-0933. 615-553-0933. I want to hear from some of you because it's getting close to football season on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Attention, Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign that went right to the wire. And this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets are on sale now. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois. It's big time.
Are you ready to begin? Trevecca Nazarene University. From calling to becoming.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. Really, I'm disappointed. The red-blooded American thing didn't really do it today.
No, it did not. What's going on?
Well, we need more phone calls.
We do. It's a slow time of year, man. There's not much sports going on.
Yeah, but we're getting there.
I know we are. We're close. We're
getting there.
close. We had a Hall of Fame game, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I mean, let's be honest. It's false excitement because the preseason games are a joke, and they've got to be a bigger joke. And the fact that the NFL's charging full price, they should be ashamed. But
we do have some news out of the NFL.
Do we?
Smelling salts have been banned.
Oh, dang. Why?
Did you ever do any of those, Kelly?
Oh, absolutely. I took a hit every time I went out, before the game when I went on the field. You got to take a hit of smelling salts.
Smelling salts and ammonia have been banned from the NFL, according to apparently George Kittle on YouTube. It looks like he went on a podcast and released that.
You ever had one of those, Billy?
I have.
That'll get you jacked up, man. I'm smelling it right now. I want to go. Let's go. Give us some calls.
Okay, here we go. By the way, we're looking for red-blooded Americans. Apparently, no communists allowed.
We can't have communists.
553-0933. Now, Tyron will bring it strong out of Brentwood.
Oh, we know.
Tyron, what's going on?
Going good, gentlemen. A pleasure and honor to talk to you again. Got a couple of things. I'm going to get to my first one first. I got a hunch and I got a funny feeling. I've been watching a lot of old games and a lot of football these last few weeks because I'm a sports junkie and just desperate for football season to get here. So I tell you right now, if the Florida quarterback stays healthy, George and Kelly, I think the Gators can steal the SEC. I really, truly believe it. And I'll just go with this. Last year, people forget at the cocktail party, Florida was kicking Georgia's rear end until he got hurt. And I believe they were going to win that game had he not got hurt. Now, they got to keep him healthy. And, you're hearing out of camp thus far he's had a couple of little nicks and wounds, so they got to keep him upright. But I'm going to tell you right now, everybody's talking about Arch and the kid out of LSU, and rightfully so. If this kid from Florida, he stays healthy, the Gators going to be in the midst to win the SEC, George. I'm telling you that right now.
He brings up a really good point that in the game a year ago at the Gator Bowl, until the injury happened, Florida was not only going toe-to-toe, they were winning the battle.
They were. I'll say this, Tyron, about Lagway. I'm starting to get a little worried about his health now. I've heard too many reports that he's not great. I know he said at media days he's feeling good, but we've had a couple more reports. I'm We'll wait and see that first couple games, see how he feels and how he's looking before. But I'm with you. If he's healthy, this could be a playoff team.
Yes, sir, and that's why I said, and that's why I've heard the same thing you've heard. He's had a couple of little nicks and wounds, so that's concerning because they got to keep him upright. That's the key. You know, he's the key piece to them having a successful season. So I'm with you there too. And this is just follow me, and I beg of you, and I beg of thee, George, if you will, sir, follow me here, because man, I'm gonna tell you something. I've been watching a lot of old throwback classes. I'm gonna tell you, man, and I understand Saban's run when he got to Alabama and all that, but I'm gonna tell you right now, from 03 to 05, and they gagged against Texas. I'm gonna tell you that USC run with Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, that team, boy, them boys, they were bad, man. They were kicking butt. They were SEC built. I'm gonna tell you right now, they're one of the greatest. That SEC 04 national team, and I don't care about the vacated stuff, which phrase it is. College football, you've gave Reggie Bush his Heisman back. We now know everybody's getting paid. Get rid of this vacated nonsense. It's just stupid. Let's be adults here. But I'm going to tell you right now, that 04 SEC team is one of the 5 greatest college teams ever, my friend. And I'm going to tell you, and I'll ask you this, George and Kelly, who's better? And I know he plays both ends of the ball. You talking about Travis Hunter. I'm going to tell you right now, I take Reggie Bush every day of the week over Travis Hunter. To me, I still ain't seen a college player to this day since then that's been better than him. That's my take, gentlemen. What else we got? It's August. We're ready for football season. What else we got to talk about? I figured I'd throw you a curveball, Hall of Famer.
Bring it on, baby. So I remember when the USC people were pissed off that Pete Carroll got that job. They thought he was a dud, and instead he turned into the man.
Yeah. He did. He brought those guys into competitive deals. Like they had different names for what they were doing each week. Like each day, it was like competitive Tuesday, or it was something silly. But like he never did. Like when he was with the New England Patriots or the Jets, he never was. And then I guess he found his way going back to USC, and then from there he went to the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm with you. He didn't do much, but man, when he had Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush talking about Tyron, man, they were really good. They were a good football team, and Reggie Bush was a good football player. He really was, and I'm with him. I don't understand, what's going on in college sports and college football now. I know it wasn't, but people were doing it back then, guys. They were just doing it under the table, and Reggie Bush was the best player in the country. Give him his Heisman Trophy back. Good gracious.
Agreed.
All this vacating BS.
Oh God, who cares? Like, hey, you're vacating 10 wins. Okay, man, we know how many games we won. Take as many as you want back, but like we know as players, we know as coaches what we won. I know that I won the Heisman Trophy. You took it from me, which is ridiculous. Give it back to him. Good gracious.
I need a vacate. Thank you.
Where you going on? Where you going to vacate?
Later in the month.
Okay. Where, George? You know where you're going?
Not yet. Not totally.
Not yet.
Not,
okay. To a ball facility near you.
Could be, yes. Very possibly. Jim, line 2 out of Smyrna. Welcome.
Trying to play basketball. That's what he's vacating to me.
Okay, that doesn't sound like Jim. That sounds like Jeff. Jeff, are you there?
Yeah, how you doing, George?
I'm good.
I just want to say, watched a little bit of well, it's over now, but the TBT tournament, Aftershocks, their team that won. It's an alumni tournament of the college guys. Usually it's 64 teams, and the winning teams put the $1 million. So Wichita State's team, they won it this year, but there's all kinds of teams in it. I mean, West Virginia's got a team, all of them all over the country. Auburn, Kentucky does, all of them. It was a fun tournament to watch. If Kentucky team could have made free throws, had to win somewhere. But I know y'all talk about all football day with Tony, but with Boo Carter and everything, I mean they're not going to penalize a guy. What I heard is he's not going to be able to run through some drills. Well, that's a real punishment. I bet Kelly would have loved that. If Boots Dolly told him, "Well, Kelly, you were late to practice. You ain't gonna be able to run some drills today." Well, what would have Kelly? What would you say? I know you can't hear me, but what would you have done if Boots Dolly said you can't run any drills and y'all can't run the out pattern practice? What would you have said if Boots Dolly told you that?
Kelly, he wants to know what you would have said if Boots Donnelly had said, "Listen, you can't run in some of these drills today."
I'd have been fine with it, but Coach Donnelly would have never said that. I mean, he
literally,
he never would have said that.
He wore coats in 95-degree weather, so I know he's out there in a parka. It's 105. He thinks he wanted to cool it down a little bit. So I know that, but and they're not going to punish Boo Carter. He'll be playing the first game. You can bank on it. He'll be playing there when they face the Syracuse or whoever. But what I want to say, George, Gentry Estes, he wrote a column about there's a guy over in Clinton, Tennessee. I think it's 15 miles from Knoxville. He's had season tickets in basketball for close to 60 years. He's had them since '67. He's 88 now, and he had prime seats. He even contributed to when they built Thompson Bowling Arena basketball. So they upped his season tickets, always NIL and transfer for him. Of course, he'll let him pay less because he's had them so long. They went from $1,500 last season to $4,500 this year. It's all this NIL business and transfer portal. So they told him, said, "Well, we'll put you in the upper deck up there. We'll put you up there in the 300, 400 strap where the bugs and termites watch, and they can watch up there." He probably couldn't even get up there. I mean, and like Gentry Estes says, this is going to be something that's going to happen in sports when you take people's tickets from them because it's NIL and transfer portal stuff. So I'd like you guys to comment on that. A guy has season tickets 60 years at a place. You're just going to, we'll see you. We don't want to fool you. You're an old man, so you get out. Comment on that, George. I think other universities are going to do it too. Thank you.
Yeah. To me, this is where an athletic department has to get in a room and sort of go case by case, Kelly, in certain deals where an AD gets told by, an assistant AD, look, we're talking about an 88-year-old here. For God's sakes, he's been a season ticket holder for 60 years. Let's cut this man some slack. Let's use a little common sense. But one thing I have not liked up there is it's simply all about money and nothing else.
That's where everything is today in today's sports world, George. They don't care. They really don't. Like, I'm sure some of the people say, well, it's a tough situation that we're in right there, but like, he's 88. I mean, we're in the business of making money here. I don't know if people care anymore. That's the frustrating thing to me. Like, loyalty and honor and all that stuff doesn't seem like in today's world it matters anymore. And I hope that we can get that back, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, these tickets went from $1,480 to $4,488.
Danny White ought to be ashamed.
Danny Dimes.
I mean, that's part of his job. To me, is to know his fan base.
Mm-hmm.
It may be impossible in football, but in basketball, it's a little bit different. And somebody in that athletic department knows that this guy's been a season ticket holder for 60 years.
I've got the same thing. I've got the same thing in my neighborhood. One of my good friends who's a UT grad, but he's an older guy. He was like, I'm just not doing it anymore. Can't do it. He said, it's gotten ridiculous. It's too expensive. He said, I've had tickets for 30, 40 years and I'm just not doing it. And that's really sad, because all the people that have made your program go and given you money and come to games and come when it was pouring down rain, or when you weren't very good, and you're turning your back on all these customers, and I don't like it.
Let's go Kenny on line 3. Kenny, welcome.
Hey, George, how you doing?
I'm good. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing great. I had a comment and then a question, actually, for Billy. The comment is for you. I ran into you a couple of Sundays ago at the Sounds game, and you and I reminisced about the old Sounds and the old Greer Stadium.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to tell you how much I enjoyed that.
Well, me too.
You and I are old enough that we remember those times. And my comment is to Billy is actually a question.
Okay.
Who is backing up Diego?
A guy by the name of Blaze Berlowitz. He was his backup at New Mexico State a couple of years ago. He's not the same type of player as Diego, but I do think they are in a better spot behind Diego than they were last year. Nate Johnson was not equipped to run that offense last year. Anytime he did go in, it was a handoff up the middle. So I do think they're in a better spot. But, it'll be Berlowitz. He's played in the system for a while. He knows it. So, if Diego goes down, there'll be a drop-off. But I'll be interested to see how big that drop-off is.
That's been kind of worrying me a little bit because of Diego and his approach and everything and the way he plays. And, it kind of scares me a little bit because, it's the SEC. And when you kind of rub your nose of the team's nose in it, and they're going to take an extra shot. And I always feel like if he goes down, then we are in a bad way.
You got that right. And there's no way around it. And
Kelly, I don't know if you saw, but yesterday it was released in an article that Diego Pavia played on a torn hamstring the second half of all of last season.
Yeah, he was. You could tell he was injured. You could tell that, but that's just what a Warrior does. That's what I would have done the same thing. Of course, I couldn't run. He needed his legs a little bit, but you could tell something was ailing him if you watched him play.
Kenny, I'll be out there Thursday night. If you're not doing anything, come join me.
Well, I will be out there Sunday night, and but it sure was great talking. As far as and I always wondered, this is probably something that probably couldn't get done. But if they were to have an old reunion with some of the old sounds, I bet that would be a hit, especially like with a lot of the older people, you know, the Balbonis, the Brian Dayettes, that group, you know.
Yeah, it's hard to put together because they're scattered all over the place, and trying to figure out where they are is a lot tougher. Probably easier on the major league level, but it's a good idea.
We'll leave that up to Skip Nipper.
Absolutely. Hey, Kenny, thank you.
Thank you.
I hope I didn't stop him from something. Let me get one more before the break. Kevin on line 4, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Yesterday I was a little disappointed. I didn't get a chance to call in, but I was watching the you guys break down the chance to make the college football playoffs, and I was, as an Indiana alum myself, I was pretty surprised not seeing them on there with the transfers that they've got and Signetti going into his second season. And I was just wondering if you guys had any insight on why they might be lower than everybody else, or I think they might be, I guess.
So for those who are watching by way of podcast, yesterday we released ESPN's best 32 to make the playoff. And to be honest, I didn't pay attention to it.
I'm surprised
Indiana's
too.
not there.
Yeah, they bring in Fernando Mendoza from Cal, a guy that Auburn wanted. They've got Elijah Serrata as a good receiver. They've got a good defense, too. You forget about that Indiana defense last year. They surprised a lot of people. I'm with Kevin, too. I don't know why Indiana wasn't in that list.
Wow. What's their Kevin, you may know this. Home and road, where do they go? Where are their tough games?
They're playing Oregon and Penn State on the road, and then they're playing Illinois at home and UCLA at home. And I would probably say that those are and Wisconsin at home. So those are probably the 5 toughest games they got.
So they don't have either Ohio State or Michigan.
No, they don't.
Ooh, that's an advantage.
That's a break.
That's monumental break. Who do they open with?
They open with Old Dominion.
That'll be big.
Yeah. Wow, Billy. Been a little smart aleck.
Billy, why you got to be hating on Old Dominion, man? They got guys.
Yeah.
They got players.
Sure.
They could run over your butt.
Come on now.
Okay.
Hey, thank you for the phone call, Kevin. Go Hoosiers.
Go Hoosiers.
Okay, I want to ask Tony in Nolensville, Rick in Nashville, and Isaac, who's on line, whatever number it is, line 7. Hang with me. We'll take your phone calls after the break on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler. Attention, Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign that went right to the wire. And this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets are on sale now. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois. It's big time. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
We are back. Love the phone call participation today. We got a bunch of you, so let's get right to it. Tony in Nolensville, welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's good talking to y'all again.
Same here.
You know, Kenny touched on it a while ago about Pavia. And guys, y'all talked about it on here before too. And that's what I'm worried about is he has popped off so much and kind of rubbed some of these teams' nose in it. I think there's going to be a lot of incentives when they go on the opposition with Alabama and those guys who they beat last year, Virginia Tech. I don't think it's going to be so easy for them right off the bat. And I think you're going to have some teams that's going to try to get some extra licks in and some extra hits, especially on somebody who's, coming to the league only his second year and is popping off the way he is. I wish sometimes he'd kind of curtail some of that and just play football and whatnot. And I would hope Clark Lee would try to get him to reel him in a little bit, like Kelly's talked about. Coach Donnelly had done with me also, Kelly. It's, one day I mentioned to Coach Donnelly I'd had a bad day of punting. And I said, Coach Donnelly, what the hell am I doing wrong? The first thing you need to do is you need to get that language straightened up. And he would flat tell you, And I just afraid some of these things Poppy has done is really going to be out there. I just think people are going to come after him as a target. Now, he's tough. We know that. Plays a lot of grit. But I just think he's in the SEC now, and he's going to find out that second year is going to be a little bit tougher. He's not going to sneak up on somebody.
Kelly, if you were Clark Lee, would you have told him to cool it?
Absolutely. You got to let your playing on the field show everybody what you can do. Here's the deal. I talked to some. I talked in between the lines. I talked a bunch, but I always found out when I've gotten to my old ripe age of 52 here, it's always better just to shut your mouth, go play the game, and then let everything happen. What it does, Tony and everybody, it brings added pressure to Diego Pavia because now he's starting to write checks with his mouth. And we all know the saying, and you just it's like it puts added pressure because you think about yourself. You're laying there in bed at night getting ready for a game, and you're like, man, I've been talking a lot. Like, you're starting to think about other things, and it adds pressure to what you're trying to accomplish. And for me, I just wish he would be quiet. And if I was Clark Lee, I would have a talk with him. I said, I love your confidence. Because everybody in this organization loves you. Your teammates love you, but tone it down a little bit. Let's just go play and let our talking be on the field.
I'll agree, Kelly. That's just what I'm just afraid that, what might just happen. So hopefully, he'll be able to go do his thing and back it up, but he needs to reel it in. He really does. George, he is sadly here to report to you that the Chicago Cubs, I believe, has caught TSD flu. That is the team slump disease.
I watched last
night.
night.
Reeling at the plate. And I'm sad. I'm watching it every night, and they are just struggling from batter to batter to batter. And I mean, it's going through the lineup. And starting with Dansby, he was batting 6th. They've moved him to 9th. He has been striking out. And Suzuki, at one point last week, he was 4 for 45. I think he's now about 8 for 55 or something. Bad. He had 2 hits Sunday. And it took Justin Turner to hit his first ever career walk-off home run Sunday for them to beat the lowly Orioles. They struggled with the Orioles all weekend.
Yeah.
And then you see PCA coming up to bat, and he got he's free swinging at everything, even threw his bat the other night after striking out. I just think I don't know if they're pressing or if they've come out the All-Star break, George, and they're 8-7. And Milwaukee's, I think, 14-2 or 12-4, something like that.
And Milwaukee's going to continue to be healthy because they're in Atlanta. And that's right now, that's almost guaranteed stuff. I don't know what the Cubs deal is, but you're right. They're not hitting. Last night, Dansby's 2-run homer, which was a bomb to left field. Right. That was it for them. I don't know what the hell is. Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
And I've seen I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, they ought to get in the playoffs, whether they win the division or not, which is starting to look less and less like it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Get that team in the playoffs. Let's see what happens.
And I was really disappointed. The pitcher was who was it started the game last night, George?
Mike Soroka.
Man, he left the game already with a sore shoulder. So, I mean, it's just something like that. So it's going to be something to see. But I just want to touch on those 2 things. I'll talk a little bit more with Danny. Great show. Great participation. Talk to you.
Hey, thank you. Soroka put on the DL. Bless his heart. Man, he has had a bunch of it.
I hate that.
Rick on, I guess this would be line 6. Welcome.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So I'm talking a little bit about NL East baseball. Phillies and Mets are in a pretty tight race. Phillies holding on to about a 1.5 lead at the moment. And I know they've made a good amount of additions to their bullpen during the trade deadline, bringing in guys like Durant. But Alvarado, the lefty that got suspended for PEDs at the beginning of the year, comes back late next week. I know obviously he'll be ineligible for postseason play, but how much of a difference do you think this makes in the Phillies' chances of winning the division? Because he can definitely obviously help them pick up some games in the back half of the year.
Yeah, I mean, look, it also allows on days where Duran is pitched, I don't know, let's make up a scenario, 3 games in 3 days, you've got another guy out of that pen that's a legit closer. Now, I'd be pissed off at Alvarado for what he did because he has hurt his team in the postseason when they can really use him. Guys, I think the Phillies and the Mets go to the final weekend. They've been going back and forth and back and forth. And I'll admit, I love the Mets right now. You listen to one of their home games. Francisco Lindor has the walk-up music, My Girl. And the crowd now sings it. You know, when the music finishes, they just pick up the rest of it. It's really cool.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Stick with me. You'll learn some things. So, look, it's bound to help them that they're getting him back. But I know this. If I was his teammate, I'd be pissed off that he put them in this position.
No doubt. But if you're Rob Thompson in this situation, I understand if there's a situation where, you know, Duran's gone 3 days in a row and you need a guy, but are you almost limiting how you use Alvarado, knowing that you can't use him in the postseason since they're a team that's pretty much walking into the postseason unless something implodes?
It's really an interesting question. The Braves hoped they'd face this with Jurickson Profar. Doesn't look like they're going to. I'd just pitch him until his arm falls off, knowing that he's not going to be in postseason. Let him go.
Yep, fair enough. All right, thanks, guys.
Final call is Isaac on line 7. Isaac, are you there?
I am. Hey, guys, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, so there's a kid in Minnesota right now. His name is Coy Parrish. He was had a pretty successful year last year as a return man and DB. And I've been seeing a lot about him kind of being thrown more into the offensive scheme. He had a few standout days last week, a few passes took for long touchdowns. So I was wondering, you were talking about Travis Hunter and how he's generally viewed as a generational talent. What do you think this Parrish kid will look like this year? And will he kind of, obviously he won't get talked about as much as Hunter, but will he kind of be thrown into those same conversations, you think?
So he's University of Minnesota, right?
Yep. Correct.
And their offense, in spite of all that rowing of the boat, has not been all that great. So this kid's going to get all the chances he wants.
Yeah, he was a 4-star recruit. He said his dream has always been to play for the Vikings, and I want to say he's from Minnesota. He chose to stay home. He chose Minnesota over Ohio State, Michigan, and USC. So this is a guy to watch, and he's a return specialist, but it does look like he's going to be playing some offense and maybe even a little defense. So that's a guy to watch, and I haven't even thought that much about.
Kelly, let me ask you this: if you're really good as a kick returner or a punt returner, does that automatically mean you've got wide receiver skills?
Not automatically, no, George, because I've seen guys that are really good at kick returning, punt returning, but they just, for some reason, there was a guy that we had in Indianapolis, Terrence Wilkins. He was things that we had to do specifically on offense for him, and he ran those jailbreak screens because nobody at Marvin didn't want to run them. Reggie Wayne, I'm sure, I wasn't with him, but I'm sure he didn't want to run them because you'd have to catch it, and you go inside the line, you let those offensive linemen get. But he had a specific skill set, and sometimes guys like. I forget the guy that was at Kansas City, the human joystick. What was his? You remember his name? What was his name for the Chiefs?
About a year ago,
Jamal Charles.
No. This was 10 years ago. This was a way back when. It was probably when I was playing. It might have been even further than that. But they called him the human joystick. But he was a return guy, but he wasn't a great receiver. I mean, Devin Hester, DB, they tried to put him on offense, but, he was a great returner as well. So I don't think that necessarily correlates to being a great receiver, but some guys just have a niche and a knack of making people miss. And the thing about returns is when you see a hole, you have to hit the hole. If you start bouncing, you start moving around too much, the speed in the game is too much now. So guys that are really good returners, they make one move and they hit it and they go straight north. And I don't think that translates. I've seen a lot of guys. Now, I've seen some guys that can do both, but sometimes that does not translate to the offensive side of the ball.
Dante Hall, human joystick.
Dante Hall, that's it. Yep. Couldn't remember his name.
Good guess.
Nice.
Isaac, go Gophers.
Have a good morning, boys.
Thank you.
We had a question in the chat from Seth Plaster. Have you ever had a favorite caller? Any favorite callers over the years?
Favorite callers? We had one in the early days. This is back like late 80s, early 90s. Statman has since passed away. His real name was Richard Cummins. And my dad happened to hear him one day call as Statman. And Dad tells me, he says, I know exactly who he is. And his name was Richard Cummins. And so Kelly, we go to the break one day, and I see Statman, and I pick up the phone, and I said, Richard, how the hell are you? And he goes, George, how did you know? And so I told him that my dad figured it out, and I said, my dad made your dad an admiral in the American Airlines Admirals Club, which was some room where it was an excuse to have a toddy. And I'll never forget, Richard said to me, he said, Daddy loved that club.
That's good stuff.
Okay. We need to go to the break. Kelly, do you know what's coming up?
Yeah, I do know what's coming up. Are you still doing well, George?
I'm holding my own.
Okay. Good.
We had a big split last night.
Good for
had
you.
2 games on the card tonight. We will talk about those next.
With no credit check and payments as low as $20 a week, why wait to upgrade your home? At Electronic Express, get everything you need, from premium appliances and TVs to gaming systems and more. Whether it's building your dream home theater or updating your kitchen, we make it affordable and easy. With over 40 years in business, trust us for the best selection, service, and guaranteed low prices. Shop online or at any of our 22 locations across Tennessee and Alabama. Electronic Express, for every moment of your day.
This summer, the Legends of the West invite you to the Buffaloville Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming. 5 museums come alive with timeless Western art, heroic tales, and native cultures. Experience live birds of prey, crackling chuck wagon dinners, and behind-the-scenes adventures. Just 50 miles from Yellowstone's East Gate, our doors open wide to explorers young and old. 1 ticket grants you 2 days, enough time to let curiosity lead the way. Visit centerofthewest.org.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan. It's back to school season, and Cromwell Media has teamed up with Souls for Souls to help a child in Middle Tennessee step into the new year with confidence by introducing Souls for 615. For just $20, you can provide a brand new pair of athletic shoes to a student in need. It's quick, it's easy, and it makes a big difference. Visit thegamenashville.com/shoes to donate now and be a part of something meaningful. Souls for 615 is presented by Macero and 12 South. Go check them out for handcrafted cocktails, bold plates, great happy hour, and elevated hospitality. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Final segment on a Tuesday. Time now for Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. First, take a look at what happened last night. It was a split with a Milwaukee win, but the Cubs couldn't get it done.
Yeah, the Cubs aren't scoring any runs, as Tony brought up earlier, and that's a big problem. What's really going on right now in baseball is that you've got some of the lower tier teams, Florida, the White Sox, the A's, who are doing more than their share. Yeah, they're starting to get more than their share of wins, which means in the old gambling world, a little tougher.
Sure
A
does.
little tougher. So here we go, Kelly. 17 and 14, got 2 tonight to put in the win column. Detroit is really good, period.
Yeah. Y'all said they had a chance, too, earlier, a couple of weeks ago. They got a chance.
They've got a real shot. There are times you watch them where they look like the best team in the American League. Their rebuild has been 100% successful.
Have they ever won the World, George? Have they ever won the World Series?
Oh, yeah.
Did they? I know Jack Morris, was that the group? Did they win it?
Well, they won in 84. They've won in 68 with Denny McClain. They won in 84 when they got off to, God, what was the record was like 35 and 5 that year. It was ridiculous how good they were.
Yeah.
And they have not won since then.
I don't think so.
Yeah, they started 35 and 5 in 1984.
Really good baseball town. Second pick. Mets lost last night. They will not lose tonight. Take them against Cleveland.
Good luck, George.
I don't think you mean it.
I don't mean that at all.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm rooting against you.
That sounded
That's
very
wonderful.
phony, Kelly.
It was phony. I'm rooting against him. I'll just be honest with him.
Go away. Your time is up.
See ya.
We'll see all of you tomorrow. Mike Organ from the Tennessean will join us, which guarantees you'll learn some stuff that you probably didn't know. So long, everybody.